If there's a Twitter video on it.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck, what did I do to you? You could have retired an hour and a half ago before I picked you in my fantasy picks. I mean, what did I do, Vic? I've been a fan of yours. Why would you do this to me? Come out of retirement. I'm just saying.
It is truly a very sad day in the NFL where one of the NFL's brightest stars, Andrew Luck, has officially retired from the NFL at the young age of 29. There will be a press conference on Sunday to make it official, and the main reason that he is retiring, according to Adam Schefter, is Andrew Luck is mentally worn down and is giving up. Ever since he injured his shoulder in what is supposed to be apparently a snowboarding incident that he actually denies, because if he did, he'd lose out on a lot of money, Andrew Luck hasn't been the same. He was able to return last year, and he was actually a phenomenal quarterback, throwing for 39 touchdowns and 15 interceptions and for over 4,500 yards. Sure, his form looked a little different. He was dinking and dunking a little bit more, but he still looked like the generational talent that had him drafted number 1 overall in 2012. I don't think you guys understand. If you're a basketball fan, I'll make an analogy for you, and maybe you'll understand why this is significant. Andrew Luck in 2012 was drawing the same hype as Zion Williamson was drawing for the NBA this year. He was considered the generational talent that had the perfect throwing motion. He was a can't-miss prospect who came from a pro-style offense. There was nothing that could have gone wrong in his career if he went to the right team. And I feel like that's just what went wrong. I can't help but blame the Indianapolis Colts for this, because a part of me just feels like they set up Luck for failure. They didn't really get him the offensive line that he needed up until this past year when they drafted Quentin Nelson, and by that point, it seemed like it was too little too late. Now, again, if he really did injure his shoulder through a snowboarding incident, then whatever I'm saying is hogwash. But to give you an idea of how good he was the past couple of years, in 2016 he threw 31 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. In 2014 he threw 40 touchdowns to 16 interceptions. In 2018 he threw 39 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. He's only 29 years old, and according to Darren Rovell, this is the saddest part of all, Andrew Luck is leaving behind $58 million to retire from the NFL. Now, where do the Indianapolis Colts go from here? They have Jacoby Brissett as their backup quarterback, so you're pretty much going to get a rerun of the 2017 NFL season where the Indianapolis Colts finished as a top 5 pick. But it's truly sad for both the organization and for Andrew Luck, because from an organizational standpoint, you're losing your franchise QB as he's entering his prime. Quarterbacks typically hit their prime around the age of 27 and on, and Andrew Luck was so advanced for his age that he was beginning to dominate the league at this age. So it just really, truly breaks my heart as a football fan to see this happen to him. A part of me, again, is very, very upset at the Colts organization because they didn't really get him the staff that he needed. Frank Reich was a great coach for him to work with Andrew Luck this past year. I actually really like the combination. But prior to that, they wasted 6 years on Chuck Pagano with Andrew Luck, and it just gets me so upset because this is a guy that should be retiring as one of the all-time greats in NFL history, and instead we're getting an early retirement from him. And I really hope that a part of me feels like he's going to rehabilitate and he's going to try to get back into shape, and he just wants the pressure of being able to perform for the NFL season off his shoulders, because again, he is just 29. I won't be surprised if some team brings him in for a workout or some team tries to sign him or convince him to come out of retirement, because 29 is a very, very young age to be retiring as a quarterback. But at the same time, who knows? This could be it for him. We've seen early retirements from middle linebackers before. We've seen early retirements from offensive linemen and defensive linemen before. Now it seems like we're seeing an early retirement from one of the NFL's brightest stars. I know I've said this a lot. It's a really sad day for the NFL. I really hope that something changes. He changes his mind. He comes back next year, maybe the year after. Maybe he's pulling a Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer retired from the NFL, but that's because he had beef with the Cincinnati Bengals back in 2010, I believe, 2009. Came back with the Raiders about a year later, I want to say, or halfway through the season. And then after that, he finally moved on to the Cardinals and had a great twilight of his career, but it was fairly short-lived. Let me know what you guys think. Who's to blame for this injury? Do you think it's the Colts' fault? Do you think for this retirement, do you think it's the Colts' fault? Do you think it's Andrew Luck's fault? Do you think nothing could have been done differently? If there was something that could have been done differently, what could have been done differently? Let me know in the comment section, guys. I like to hear what you have to say.